Out of the Box continues
on Q104.3.
Welcome, Joe.
Hey, welcome.
Good to see you again. And
Thank you.
Please tell us the title of the new album, because you probably say it better than I did.
Well, I don't know. I've heard some people say it nice. It's actually Professor Satriani and the Mysterian of Rock.
All right, now you got to tell us like how you came up with this title and
it's a mashup of song titles on the record. I was looking for, I think there's always that one hope that you've got this one great song on the record that for some reason it embodies the spirit of the entire record. But I really didn't. Every song was going in some different direction. And I couldn't call it like, Asic Vaisel or Andalusia or Diddly Do Dat or, it's like, and I was like, what am I going to do, And so it was actually Mick, my manager, he said, well, why don't you just come up with a really long title, because we had long agreed that titles of records don't really matter so much anymore. Everything's broken up. People rearrange it the way they want. And maybe the title of the album is important for maybe the first week or something, just to draw attention to it. So I started to get more relaxed with it, and I started messing around with the titles, and I came up with that one, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And I sort of, it had some legitimacy to me, because I thought, well, there's Professor Satriani, and that's a humorous take on myself. And then the Mysterian, that's a very heavy song, and it's a very heavy word. It was too heavy to be an album title. And then when I stuck in the rest of the Mysterian of Rock, and I thought, this is cool. This is sort of like initiation into my kind of music, which is kind of off in left field. I'm in my own little subcategory.
Not
somewhere.
To me, it isn't, man. I play it all the time.
Well, so and I thought, it's got a good sense of humor to it, and it's hard to pronounce. So there you go.
Well, so is there a theme to this record, or is it just like, let me just
expression,
call it this? And
it's expression. That was the I keep trying to push the envelope there as far as I can go, and sometimes it leads you down a really a sweet path, with songs like Come On Baby or Out of the Sunrise that are kind of subtle and pretty. And sometimes it means you got to take 7 to 8 minutes and just jam with the guys to get your point across. And other times it's a little bit of a sense of humor, and a wink with like, I Just Want to Rock, it's not to be taken too seriously.
Well, I want to talk about that song, because that is sort of like the first single, I guess. And you have a really kind of funny video for that song. I saw it on your website. It's on YouTube and everything like that. But talk about that song and what it means, and where you got the idea for the robot and everything.
It just popped into my head like a silly idea. Like if there was a robot on the loose and you didn't want to imagine it would be, there would be dire consequences. I figured, what would be humorous consequences or just good times, So I thought, well, he's wandering through the city. He comes across a park, and there's a small rock concert going on. And he goes up to everyone and he says, "What is your purpose?" Because he doesn't understand what's happening. And they start to yell back at him, "I just want to rock," and that's why they're there. And then he slowly starts to get in touch with his human side, so you have to buy into that.
Right,
the robot would have one. And then he starts to say, "I want to rock. I want to rock. I want to learn how to rock with you." And then he rips out a crazy guitar solo. So.
Why did I think of Mr. Bill for some reason when I was watching your video? It just reminded me of Mr. Bill from the old Saturday Night Live bit a little bit.
The little sort of mini movie we have was done by a good friend of mine, Ned Evett. He's a fretless guitar player, amazing player. And I've known him for years. He's been on tour with us here in Europe many times. And he started to make these little road movies called Roadbot, and we would invariably be in them because he'd be making them backstage and on the tour bus and stuff. And so after I wrote this song, I was thinking, well, you could make a really silly video where you really try to rock out and pose and everything. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't get, caught dead doing that.
Well, you've made a lot of videos that are sort of like your standard type video anyway. So
in the old days, the old MTV videos. So I thought, no, this has got to be funny, but it's got to have a weird twist to it. And part of the theme of Ned's movies is a sort of metaphysical detachment that his little robot has as he's talking to the viewer about his creator, Ned Evett. So I called him up and I said, why don't we do one where, you just write it however you want, just show up my house and we'll film for a couple of days and we'll just see what happens. And but it's the same idea, except it's Satchbot.
Satchbot. That is his name. Okay.
Yeah, and he talks to, you've seen the film, so he talks to the viewer and describes his creator, me, and his wish to go on tour with us.
Well, you can check it out on Joe's website. But a tour of guitar centers is what you're sort of doing right now.
Yeah.
And what is happening at the Guitar Center, and what are you doing? I know you're talking and playing, or
Talking, playing, signing. Yeah, it's a cool thing to have happen because, not only do I make records, but I design gear and I have a partnership with many companies. So I have this relationship with retail and especially with Guitar Center, a great line of stores and a place that I spend a lot of time in, obviously, being a guitar geek all the time. And so it's just one of those moments where I've got about a week and a half before rehearsals for the tour. And we have new guitars coming out on Ibanez. We have a new pedal coming out.
I heard about
Vox.
the new pedal, the Vox pedal.
Right.
Yeah.
We have straps from D'Addario. We have pickups from DiMarzio. We have the new microphones from CAD, and they all got together and said, "Let's hit the road," And so it's 12 or 13 of these in a row. And we started in Boston last night. And,
awesome.
Yeah, so I get to play for about 30 minutes, and it's really cool because I've got these background tracks, and it's like doing a gig where you can really hear everything.
Well, you did this for us the last time you came to the station.
Yes, that's right.
On the last album, and it blew everybody away.
It's a lot of fun, actually.
Do like a proper, you mentioned a proper tour. You're going to come back and do like a regular gig in New York at some point?
Yeah, well, we start in Portugal in about less than a month, and we're in Europe for 7 weeks. We come back and then we do Australia, New Zealand, and South America and Mexico for about the same length of time. And then by then we're looking at North America in the fall.
Okay, yeah. You try and hit Europe in the summer, right?
Well, but not too late. The last couple of years, it's been right in the middle of the summer, and it's like, we did shows in Spain where it was 110 degrees at midnight.
Oh, yeah, you told me
it was so hot.
It does get hot there.
So we figured let's go a little bit earlier this time.
New and different bass player on this tour than previous tours?
Yes.
Or some guy you've worked with before?
Yeah, Brad Russell, who may be listening right now. He lives right here in the city. And
shout out to Brad.
And he's a crazy bass player, really amazing. And we're so lucky that we bumped into him because I had never thought about him before, although he'd been working around me in the Bay Area on the West Coast. And I know his brother, Kevin, a great guitar player. And so it was perfect timing. He was available, and we got together with him about a month ago, and it was great. So.
Hey, talk about this song that opens up the CD. I think you touched on it before, Mysterion.
Mysterion, yeah.
Mysterion.
Well, I wrote this song on the piano, and it was really, originally I think I called it It's a Mystery. And then as I was convinced that it could become a really cool song, because I'm kind of twisting a Hungarian minor scale and making it sort of rock and roll, which is not very easy. But I started to think the title isn't deep enough. I know it's about something mysterious, but it's got to be deeper. So I started to research the word with some books I had. Then I got on the internet, and then I came across this word Mysterion, which in a nutshell is a Greek word. Goes 2,000 years ago. It was used to cast aspersion on false prophets wandering around the streets of Greece. And about that time, the apostle St. Paul wanders into Greece to spread the new word, and he takes the word and he uses it in the opposite way. He puts a new spin on it that's positive, that says you can only understand these words if you're touched by the Mysterion. You need sort of a divine touch, And I just thought it was so cool that someone would do that, take a word that means something negative and say, I'm going to take that word and use it for something positive for my cause. And I thought in a funny way, I'm very often in that position where, I play instrumental rock and roll. A lot of people don't know what that is, or they listen to it and they go, where are the vocals, or what's going on, And in a way, I could see my fans saying, no, you have to get into it. And once you really get into it, then you'll understand it, So I found a way where the word meant a lot to me just from the power that it had, and also it had this funny tie-in to this unusual career that I have.
Well, it's a great song. Joe Satriani's new album, I think I got this right, Professor Saxophonculus and the Mysterion of Rock.
Yeah, I like that.
In stores now. For more info, go to Q1043.com. Keywords out of the box. Joe, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Oh, man. Great to have you here. And we'll see you back here soon, I guess, in the fall for a full-on, rocked-out Satriani show.